Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
This is from the Canadian Press. You tell me what you think of the wording of this. Goalie Dylan Guerin and center Kent Johnson headline Canada's World Junior Team. Hockey Canada named its full roster for the rescheduled Under-20 World Championship slated to begin on August 9th in Edmonton. 19-year-old Guerin was a member of Canada's junior team who won silver at the 2021 Worlds. And I'm sitting there going, who wrote this? Have you heard of Connor McBedard? How is he not the headline of the story? Because we all know it. I went and looked at the World Junior roster, and it looks pretty good. We're going to be there. You're not. But I can't wait for the tournament. And what more is to be said? We had Dylan Guerin on this show, Kamloops Blazers goaltender. I hope that he carries the mail this time for Canada in this tournament. Connor Bedard broke Gretzky's single goals record, for the love of Pete. It should be Connor Bedard and Team Canada were named on. Should it not?
I think so. Well, and to be fair, that's the Canadian Press. Every notification that I got, whether it was from the Score app, TSN app, it was Connor Bedard headlines Canada's 23-man roster or 25-man roster announced, whatever day it was. It was Connor Bedard. It should be. I mean, he's the lead story, and not just that we're proud of him and he plays on God's team. He's the headliner for Team Canada for sure.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
We were on the road with the Roughriders. Joe Womack was our strength coach, and he was rooming with Ron Estee. I'm coming down the elevator with Joe Womack, and he is so mad. And I'm like, what's wrong, Joe? And he goes, you wouldn't believe what Estee did. He's in his underwear, and he emptied the minibar. Smarties and the Kit Kats, thinking it's free, thinking it was a gift basket. And Joe looks at me, it ain't funny.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
That wasn't funny, but this is. Hello, Canada and Canadian sports fans in the United States of America. Welcome to the RP Show. It's episode number 812 of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show, and all our rowdy friends are coming over today. One of my best friends is here. We all need friends that are going to tell you when your fly's down or when you're bleeding on camera on national television, and this guy, Derek Duke Meyers, is with us. I don't know what would be on your business card. It's changed.
Yeah, it has over the years.
Pull that mic right up.
It has. Okay, I get right in here. Well, hey, I got to project a little better.
There you go.
You know what? On my business card was aspiring to be on show 812 of the Rod Pedersen Show, because that means my tenure here has spanned, I think, 810 shows, because I think it was on show 2. I think it was on show 2 or show 3. So,
I love it.
Yeah, it's a big
He's
tenure.
a career broadcaster and then got smart and got into politics. And he's now a member of the Legislative Assembly for Walsh Acres, representing the Sask Party. But he, again, career broadcaster, and for you Albertans, you either interned or worked for the Oilers. You covered the Oilers.
I worked.
Sportsnet.
Yeah, when I was in school.
Went to Nate.
At Nate, I worked for Sportsnet, and then I kind of freelanced. So I was doing all the Oiler broadcasts, and then did some CBC and others. Back in the 2006 Cup run, it was.
That would have been fun.
What a time to be in Edmonton, I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Yes. So look. One, I hacked the hell out of myself in the steam room at Evolution Fitness this morning. I'm bleeding all over the place.
Just hit puberty, first
Let
time
know
shaving?
You're there. Yeah. So Derek's been telling me, you got to wipe. So continue to tell me, please. And then the world's fastest grounds crew on the other side of this wall left one of their cameras at Buffalo Days. Buffalo Days. Sorry, guys, to say that. So that's why we're going back and forth here. And I said to Jordan, I'm going to be bleeding a lot, so put the camera on Derek as much as possible. And there's a bit of a story behind that.
Was Buffalo Days always on the marked on the calendar in Milestone?
Of course. Saved up for it.
Yeah.
Saved up for it all year. It's the fair, folks. The fair is in town here in the sweatpants capital. I feel like we're like a traveling circus. I followed the Calgary Stampede. Now here. When's Klondike Days in Edmonton? Because we're going to be going up there.
You could be a carny. You could be one of those guys calling you over, hey, $20, get in here.
You want to go faster?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I could be a carny. So when I say all our rowdy friends, career broadcaster here turned politician, almost lifelong friend.
Yeah, we've been together a long time.
A long time. And the Hall of Fame president of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Jim Hopson's going to be here in hour 2. El Presidente! To talk about all kinds of things. I would like to talk about some of the awards he's won, most notably the Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame induction, Mike Ditka's Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You saw that, eh? Hoppy
I feel
was down in
like
Chicago.
I feel like the warm-up act here because I don't have anything compared to Hoppy.
Well, we're going to get into the sports talk. Tell your friends, start spreading the news. We're live streaming on YouTube right now, but we're also live on Game Plus Television. The comments are coming in. I'll get to those in a moment, but those are the guests. And please, Director Jordan, can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please? And we'll get down to business. It actually rolls into our poll question today, which we'll get into in a moment. My point 1 is that the National Football League preseason kicks off tonight in Canton, Ohio with a Hall of Fame game. It is Jacksonville versus the Raiders. And if you're a sucker, because I was looking up the CFL odds for our later segment, Deal or No Deal, which I might play with you.
Okay.
I don't know what every week we do this. We do the betting odds.
I love to be in the action.
Yes. So it is, as I was looking at the CFL betting odds, for week 9, it came up this NFL game tonight, this preseason game. The Jacksonville Henry Burris and the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 2.5 points. I'll just say, if you're betting on NFL preseason games, you either got a problem or you're a sucker. Would you bet on a preseason?
I think you have a problem or you have a problem. That's because that's going to be, especially week 1, the Hall of Fame game. Like, who's playing? I mean, these are also rans. These are training camp bodies. Like, just if you got a pulse, you're going to get out there, I think, at some point, aren't you?
Yeah. How do you bet on who's going to win?
You don't. You may as well just blindfold yourself and throw left-handed darts.
Right. Are you taking the bet? Raiders by 2.5 in Canton, Ohio.
Well, I would take the Raiders, though. If we are going to gamble, I would take the Raiders over Jacksonville.
Here's a Canadian comment. They're commenting on your shirt. Devin Pacalo from BC.
Beautiful.
Holy shirt, he says.
Colin O'Brien's.
Did you? Well, I was going to say, it looks like my mom's old Chesterfield, like you shot it and skinned it.
Ah, man, this is Colin O'Brien's. This is casual wear. It's going to be 30 degrees here in Saskatchewan today, so
I'm
roll
just
up the
teasing
sleeves.
you. Crack a smile, man.
Man, I just, promoting my guys.
You always dress well. This man's always dressed well. But I think I've graduated into that realm where I'm not cheering for teams per se as people. I want Henry Burris and the Jacksonville Jaguars to do well. And what do you think Henry Burris will do for young Trevor Lawrence, who's now a sophomore there? He outlived Urban Meyers' tenure as head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
He probably aged about 5 years in about 6 months there. You know what Hank brings? We all know what Hank brings. He brings that positive attitude, no matter what. And he brings that experience. You know what? One thing that Hank was really good at, especially when he was playing the Riders, was throwing interceptions. But he always did seem to have the ability to bounce back throughout his career and stay positive. I remember, any interview you did with the guy was positive. And I think he could have a nice calming influence on a young guy that has had success at every single level. Like, you think of some of these first-round draft picks. At high school, stud. Goes to Clemson, stud. And you come in and you're in a situation with Jacksonville, and especially with Urban Meyer, that maybe is a little difficult. That's hard to deal with when your whole life has been pretty easy when it comes to the football field. So dealing with adversity and keeping a positive attitude, I think those are, the things that Henry could really have, a calming influence on a guy like Trevor Lawrence.
Nuts and bolts.
It's not just
between
Trevor
the ears.
Lawrence knows how to throw a football. I mean, that's not what Hank needs to teach him. There's no question that kid knows how to sling it. It's the mindset and the positive attitude and the bounce back mentality.
2 things. They want to know your shirt brand. Greg Z, watching on YouTube, says, can we get a link for the shirt brand? He goes, I got a wedding to go to in October. Do you know the brand of the shirt?
I don't know the brand, but the link is Colin O'Brien's. Like Colin O'Brien's on Hamilton Street right here in Regina. That is, I would say,
downtown
my
Hamilton Street
sponsor.
Yes.
As it were.
So continue with the comments. I'm good for it. The second thing is that a lot of the guys that come in that are filling in for Moose here in the warm-up are saying things like they want to know what the quick 6 topics are. You never even cared. Like, you just roll with it.
Well, just let her rip.
Okay, so that's point 1, Raiders and Jaguars tonight. I'll take the bet, by the way. I think the Raiders will win. New head coach. Mind you, so do the Jags. These are 2 bad teams. The poll question today for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center is this. What will you be watching tonight? NFL, CFL, MLB, or other? Because the Blue Jays are at Mini tonight, and you can only pick one. Don't be that person that says all. You can say none if you want, but you can only pick one. You lose your remote control and you're too lazy to get up off the couch. What's the one thing you're settling your channel on?
You know what? I think I probably will watch a little CFL tonight. I really got the bug after watching Winnipeg Calgary the other day. That's
Good.
what the CFL is supposed to look like, a game like that. So I have that, I guess it's not a hangover, but that taste was left in my mouth after watching that game. I didn't catch any really I think it was Ottawa-Toronto the next
Sunday,
day. Yeah, but the Winnipeg-Calgary game got me a little amped up. It was finally what I expected to see out of CFL games, and it's been frankly a little while to see a game of that caliber and that excitement packaged together.
I'm no dummy. I read the game notes. I stayed at Holiday Inn Express. And so that game had 7 lead changes in it, and no team led by more than 7 points.
It was outstanding.
7 lead changes.
Yeah, that was outstanding. And not only that, it was played at a high level. It was played at a high level, and it was coached at a high level. Anytime that you barely hear Willie Jefferson's name mentioned, that means you are coaching properly for scheme against the best player probably in the CFL when it really comes down to it, a guy that can have a massive impact on a game. And Calgary and Mark Mueller and Dave Dickinson and those guys neutralized him. On the other side of the ball, I've never been a huge Zach Collaros guy, but I mean,
how can you not be now?
Speaking of shutting a guy's mouth, he shut my mouth that day.
Mine too.
It was just played and schemed at such a great level on all sides of the ball and by both teams that it was captivating television to watch.
Ted in Red Deer's watching. He says, hey, I missed the first 2 shows this week. Binge watched the shows last night. Great shows. And yes, producer Clark, I hit the like button. Yeah, for those watching on YouTube, hit like if you don't mind. We're back in the bunker, I should mention, where this show started 812 shows ago. And it sort of has a bit of a retro feeling. This Seahawks helmet was there from day one, remember?
Johnny Ryan.
Yeah, and the Pats dropped off a hat yesterday. I almost am too afraid to wear it. I don't want to get it dirty. God's team. The Regina Pats. Point 2, the NFL is seeking an indefinite suspension of at least 1 year plus a fine in appealing a disciplinary officer's decision to suspend Cleveland quarterback Deshaun Watson for 6 games. The source said Watson would be required to undergo treatment before he could be reinstated. The NFL's appeal gives Commissioner Roger Goodell or someone he designates authority to impose a stiffer penalty. Former federal judge Sue Robinson issued her ruling of a 6-game suspension for Watson on Monday after the quarterback was accused by 24 women in Texas of sexual misconduct during massage treatments while he played for the Houston Texans. In her 16-page report, Robinson described Watson's behavior as, quote, more egregious than any before reviewed by the NFL. But her punishment fell well short of what we all expected, which was an indefinite suspension of at least a year. That's what the NFL wanted. She handed down 6 games. So the NFL on Wednesday exercised its right to appeal because they want him suspended longer. And let me just say this. The Players Union has until the end of business Friday to respond in writing. The union could challenge the appeal ruling in federal court, setting the stage for a prolonged fight. Again, I'm not stupid. I watched SportsCenter too. And I saw Adam Schefter on there. You see what he said about this?
Not recently. I saw the day it came out. He was...
Well, Schefter said this is going to be a very long, prolonged legal fight. And what's different here is that Deshaun Watson's not going to play. A lot of times they allow the guy to play while the appeal's being heard.
I'll take this. You need to wipe.
Okay.
You need a wipe.
Wow.
It is interesting how, I don't want to go against what a judge had to say, but she basically said she based it off precedent. Well, if you're suspending players in recent history for a year for smoking weed, but you have 24 women coming forward with allegations of sexual misconduct and the guy gets 6 games, that dog doesn't hunt for me. What also doesn't hunt is the way his contract is structured so that basically no matter what time Deshaun Watson misses this year, he's really not going to be out much money because they basically signed him to a deal assuming he was going to miss this year, and they're not dumb, and the NFL's not dumb. They want to hit him in the pocketbook as well. So for the NFL, they want to prolong this so that it goes into next year, so it does actually hit him in the pocketbook more than a couple $100,000. Watson doesn't want that. It's a mess. And unfortunately, probably what's getting lost here is that there's 24 women out there, with some pretty strong allegations that they were mistreated, and it's that should be the focus.
Yeah.
But quite often is the case.
So it's not an open and shut case.
No.
And John Ohm in Winnipeg, John Ohm watching, says 6 games is a joke.
Yeah.
Come on, NFL. It's not the NFL. The NFL wants him suspended longer. It was an independent arbiter, for lack of a better term. I'm moving on. The poll results so far are interesting for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center with dealerships across the prairies. What are you going to be watching tonight? Do you want to take a stab at what's winning by a whopping margin?
Oh, I hope it's not the Hall of Fame game.
It's the Canadian Football League.
Good. And I'm happy to hear that.
Winnipeg at Montreal. 62% of respondents say they're going to be watching the CFL tonight. 26% say MLB. And 12% say NFL.
Didn't the Montreal owner, it's not quite guaranteed win night, but he likes to fire from the hip, that guy, a little bit.
Gary Stern is awesome. Yeah. And he's the topic of my commentary this morning, which runs on Saskatchewan radio. I said Gary Stern is like Cheese Whiz. He's got personality. Remember those old commercials?
Yeah.
We need more Gary Sterns. His Alouettes are home. Are we jumping ahead here to point 4 and skip point 3? We can, Derek, if you want.
Oh, no.
Well, no. We have to mention the 163rd running of the Queen's Plate is taking place Sunday, August 21st. A day full of the best Canadian thoroughbred racing, plus great fashion, amazing food, and loads of fun. Get your tickets today at woodbine.com or play along with Woodbine's Dark Horse Bets app, available for Android and Apple devices. It's very easy to use. For me, almost too easy to use. Let me sneak this in. Actually, we'll devote, this is what we normally do, talk about everything else, and then we devote a lot of segment 2 to the CFL, because it is summer in Canada. So I want to throw this in here. Canada's men's under-18 team closed out preliminary play undefeated after a 3-0 victory over Sweden last night, Wednesday night at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup in Red Deer. Caleb Ritchie and Braden Yager each recorded 1 goal and 1 assist, while Zach Benson added a score of his own. A score of his own. Is
that from CP or what?
Yeah, it was. I should proofread this. Scott Ratzlaff made 18 saves in the win. Am I bleeding again?
Oh, yeah.
Finland, which finished second in Group B, awaits Canada in the semifinals on Friday. The gold and bronze medal games will take place Saturday. Watch the NHL Stars of tomorrow in best-on-best action at the 2022 Hlinka Gretzky Cup in Red Deer. It's on now. He just said the playoffs are this weekend. Purchase your tickets today at hockeycanada.ca. We are really just 3 points through the quick 6. When we come back, a lot of CFL talk, plus Blue Jays. Juan Soto made his Padres debut Wednesday night. We got lots to get to today. Jim Hopson on the way as well. You're watching the RP Show live on the Game Plus TV network. We're live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Some of our best, oldest friends showing up on the RP Show today. It's not a reunion show, but it feels like it. How you doing, Moose? Derek. I always get you and him. It's Darren, Derek.
It's because I'm not wearing socks. Confused.
Very quick-witted, this guy,
confused,
too.
Yeah.
Politician, former broadcaster. Well, you're always a broadcaster, I guess, eh?
You know what? My love of sports has not diminished. There's no question. Last night we took in the soccer game over at Mosaic. There,
I knew you'd be there because you're a soccer guy.
Oh man, it was great. It was really great, and great to see a great crowd. Also,
what was
really
the crowd?
Good. Boy, it had to have been like 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, somewhere in there.
Whoa.
Like, yeah, it was good, and it was families, and it was a melting pot.
Toronto FC's junior program.
Toronto FC's under 23 versus Sunderland's under 23. And fun fact, the under 23 group, when it comes to men's soccer, is generally what goes to the Olympics. So that's kind of the age group. Yeah, whereas the women's is the women's teams, but men's, it's usually the U23s.
I don't know, Duke, if you have a rant in you or not, but Rod's rant is for Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Find everything you need to know about our services, financing, product information, and more at broncoplumbing.com. There's probably a rant coming up. This guy's got some real good ones. I just don't know if he's got one in him today. Point 4 was CFL. Point, and we'll come back to that. Point 5, the Blue Jays settled for a split of their 2-game series with the Tampa Bay Rays. They fell 3-2 to the Rays in St. Petersburg on Wednesday. Ryan Thompson got the win after pitching 2 hitless innings. Juan Soto was shown plenty of love in his first game with the Padres, but it was Brandon Drury's grand slam on the first pitch he saw, leading San Diego to a 9-1 win over the Colorado Rockies. And point 6, the Edmonton Oilers have agreed to terms on a 2-year, $6.2 million contract extension with forward Kailer Yamamoto. The 23-year-old recorded career highs of 20 goals, 21 assists, and 41 points in 81 games last season. So now we're back onto the CFL thing because it is summertime, and it's Winnipeg at Montreal tonight. The Bombers are favored by 5 at BetRegal.ca. Are you taking the bet?
Where are they?
In Montreal.
Oh, no. I will never bet against the city of Montreal, not the team of Montreal. Yes. But St. Catharines Street is I don't want to say it's undefeated, but
took down the Riders this year.
She's a difficult spot, so I'll take the Bombers to win, but I don't know that
less than 5.5.
I don't know that I'm gonna lay the points.
I just got to sprinkle in some viewer comments here. Todd Pinkney watching. He says, the opening Quick Six topics have been sponsored by Scotty's Premium Facial Tissue. Randy in the Peg says, it's a sports talk show, Rod. Don't worry about the blood. It's part of sports. LOL. Cut myself shaving and I'm bleeding like a stuck pig. And Ryan, our technical producer, has been helping me out with that, but I'm still bleeding.
And it went almost unnoticed, but let him know you're there. I got it.
all over him. Yeah. Jason in Red Deer says, it's so weird. The Gretzky Hlinka Cup is in my city, but you'd never know it. No advertising, no news, nothing. Well, that's what you got us here for. Jason, buy your tickets and get down there. That's what we're here for, is to bring light to these sporting events that are not NHL, NFL, MLB. You get it. So back to the CFL thing. Gary Stern. It was all over SportsCenter. Again, you said you didn't see it last night, but it was like there was a story on Gary Stern, the owner of the Alouettes, and how he's all over Twitter, right? Guaranteed to win tonight, and I think it's great. He's not going to win a lot, and I think he got swindled. I think he got swindled by firing Kahari Jones.
Yeah, I don't understand that firing. Now, personal bias comes into this one. I've never, dating back to any time, thought that Danny Machocha was the be-all, end-all. I just haven't seen it. I know he won a Grey Cup in 2005, but I just don't buy into it, and I think that was the plan all along. I think many of us thought that was the plan all along in Machocha's mind. What was the spread? I know they were like 0-4, but by like a combined handful of points, lost, kind of a thing. Yeah.
Well, they had one win.
One win against the Riders, but their losses were close. Everything seemed close, and then when you start talking about discipline problems. Well, they had 150 yards of penalties, as soon as Machocha comes in there. I never bought it. Obviously, people have a ton of respect for Kahari Jones because he got snapped up absolutely the next day. I just honestly don't get it. I'm with you on that one. I think he did get sold a bill of goods by Machocha and crew. So, it is going to be some tough plowing this year for the Alouettes.
It already is.
It is, but I just don't. They're pushing a rope uphill right now.
We're talking about it because it's game day in Montreal. I think we have some bloodthirsty tech people over here. They keep putting the camera on me as I'm wiping blood off my face. Donna Berger says, she writes in, she says, wet a little tissue, stick it to it. It works all the time, LOL. Unless it's a deep cut. There's a very deep cut, more than you would think, with a razor blade shaving. So, anyways, thank you, Don. You want me to sit here with it on my face? I don't think you want that. Anyways, to the Blue Bombers, this is also in my commentary today. They've won the last 2 Grey Cups, as you know. Mm-hmm. This might be their best team. They're destroying teams, particularly in the first quarter. I think it's a plus 28 point differential, for and against points. Their first quarter, they're coming out and they're stepping on throats in the first quarter, ending games. Yeah. Aside from last week, which went down to the last minute.
I think it's the best version of Zach Collaros with Winnipeg that I've seen, especially recently. The offense really, we knew how great this defense was. And I would have argued in the last 2 years that any quarterback could have won a Grey Cup with that defense. You're talking not the 86 Bears, the Ravens, but in CFL terms, that was a really unbelievable Jackson Jeffcoat, Willie Jefferson, Adam Bighill. That was an amazing defense that I could argue won them the last 2 Grey Cups. This year, that offense looks like they're contributing every bit as well. And I go back to this Calgary game. Bo Levi Mitchell was on point. He was throwing darts everywhere. They're gashing for runs, 6, 7, 8 yards on first down. And it was the Winnipeg offense that continued to respond and eventually took over and put them up. So I would go along with the fact that this could be the best of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers over the last 3 years because the offense seems to be catching up to where an amazing defense is. And the defense doesn't seem to be dropping off that
it's
much.
Scary for the rest of the Canadian Football League.
Oh,
do you want to amend your prediction less than 5.5?
It's Montreal. Just saying, man. St. Catherine Street is
undefeated.
Well,
almost undefeated.
It's down the rabbit hole.
Checking the text line at 902-518-3033, where you can always reach us if you are watching on Game Plus television. Devin in Burns Lake, BC says, good morning. 3 or 4 downs. Great day for football. Blue and gold going for 9-0. Have a good one. Yes, absolutely. Dougal Cameron. Oh, hang on. Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba watching. He says, hi, Rod. The Riders will peak in the second half of the season. The injuries and suspensions will be over. Go Riders, says Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba. Well, let's talk about the green and white. Why not? It's all I've heard for days since being here in the sweatpants capital. They've lost 3 in a row. Rome is burning. John Lynch says, everybody's pissed off. Oh, Regina's a mess. That's from John Frenzy. You love that guy, eh?
Oh, man. He's just a walking quote machine.
So do they pull themselves? We'll get to you, Jenna, in Southern California. Jenna, she's the biggest Red Blacks fan in America, maybe on the continent. We'll talk about the Red Blacks in a minute. But the Riders, can they pull themselves out of this?
You know what? The Riders right now are not a very good football team. They're just not. Oh, boy, you're really leaking. They're just not a good football team. Now, part of that is injuries. Part of that was COVID. I do think part of it is they need to do some really, really heavy self-scouting during this bye week. The defense, they can only do so much. I mean, they hang in there. And you look at the last game, and I was there, and I've actually gone to 2 Rider games in a row, Rod.
I've seen the photos. Congratulations.
That's like a record for me since broadcasting days. But you look at how they've come out to a lead in both of those games and have played pretty well, and at halftime things are there. But eventually the defense can only hold on for so long. You can only be on the field for so many minutes before you start to get tired, before you start to make mental errors, before you start to make physical errors, and they eventually have lost both those games. So no complaints with the defense. They are playing pretty well despite, they're missing a few guys. Charleston Hughes, I don't know. I need the map to the Fountain of Youth that guy seems to have found. But again, burning around the corners. The offense has got to improve, and they need to self-scout. And that goes right from Jason Moss through Cody Fajardo to the offensive line to the receivers. I mean, catchable balls going down. Are they perfectly throwing passes? No, they're behind the guys. Why are these passes behind? Everything with it. The Riders really need to take a hard look this week on what's working on offense and how they can build off that. Is all lost for the season? No. But when you watch the last couple of weeks, there is no question. There is Winnipeg, there is Calgary, there's BC, and then there's the others. And can they get back to that level? I don't know if they could get to a Calgary-Winnipeg level. I think they could get to a BC level of play. But they're staring up pretty hard right now in the standings.
See, they were just waiting for the commentary on the Riders. From you, from me, from themselves. Don, our Navy friend, writes in. He says, the Riders always abandon the run far too early. From Peter in the Queen City. Good morning, Rob. When your head coach doesn't realize that your running back who's leading the league in rushing has only 2 touches in the second half, as a head coach, you've got to be better than that, Dickie. Signed, Pistol Pete, who goes on to say, Rod, where are you on this play calling thing? I've just decided to put this on my face.
Again, I know there's struggles with the offensive line, and there's guys been shifting all around. Dan Clark, who is one of the best centers in the league, especially when it comes to calling pass protection, run protection. He calls that all out. I mean, they've been kind of flipped on their head there. They weren't good last year either. Let's be honest. But you have to take a look at again, that's what I'm saying. During this bye week, they should be self-scouting more than they should be scouting other teams. They need to figure out what they are doing wrong and what they can be doing better going forward. There's, you're up to a 17-4 lead, and yes, granted, some of that is because the defense has put you in a good spot, but you need to continue to capitalize on those things. Now, again, Morrow has been, I think, a pretty good running back. He's right up there with the league leaders when it comes to average yards per rush. And I mean, he's been electric. You got to continue to figure out ways to get your players the ball in better situations. And they just haven't been able to figure that out. And especially in the second halves of games recently.
Jordan Ewart in the chat says, I didn't even know the CFL was on tonight. Poor marketing from the CFL all year. Plus Thursday games are meh for the CFL. People want to go to a game on Friday/Saturday night.
Maybe.
I
honestly, as a TV viewer, by the time Thursday comes around, I actually watch the Thursday night games because
we're home.
Well, there's been a kind of a blank spot too. Like it's not the NFL season, so there's no Monday night football. I've actually found myself watching a little more baseball this year, especially the Jays, just to fill some gaps in the schedule for sports.
Watched a lot of Blue Jays, yes.
Yeah, so I don't mind the Thursday night games because I'm like, ooh, finally there's something on I can watch. I can only watch Seinfeld reruns so much.
Yeah. Those lines keep coming up in my head all the time. We shall take a break here. Dan in Winnipeg says, can Winnipeg go all season without a loss? The odds would say no.
The odds would say no, but if you watch, I mean, that's as stiff a competition as I've seen in a long time from Calgary last weekend, and they pulled it out on the road. Would you bet against it? That is
if there was ever a team,
boy,
this would be the team.
That's a poll question or a betting an odds number. Can they run the table?
I would put a bet down on that they won't. No, there's only one team that has, and that was a 12-0 season, the Calgary Stampeders in 1948. John Lynch, that was the first season he remembers covering the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And the Stampeders went 12-0 and won the Grey Cup. No one's ever gone 18-0, so why would you think that somebody will now? Although if anybody's going to do it, it could be these Blue Bombers. When we come back, a sports update and more with the Duke. More of you, which is what we all want. Jim Hopson coming up in hour 2, the Hall of Fame president of the Roughriders. You are watching on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, and you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Amazon, Google, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Just ahead of more with the Duke, a sports update and breaking news. You love the bell, eh?
Gets me every time.
On this, it wakes you up. Breaking news on this Thursday, and I'm holding this on my face because I'm bleeding. Don't judge me. U.S. basketball star Brittany Griner was convicted today, Thursday, in Russia of drug possession and sentenced to 9 years in prison following a politically charged trial that came amid soaring tensions between Moscow and Washington over Ukraine and could lead to a high-stakes prisoner exchange between the two world powers. 9 years in jail for Brittany Griner today. I'm not touching it.
Wow.
Any thoughts from you?
Oh, it's political posturing. And I mean, this is out of our pay grade. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, not comfortable talking about it. Saskatchewan Rush general manager Derek Keenan announced that associate head coach and former offensive coach and player Jimmy Quinlan has been named head coach and associate general manager. Quinlan, who served as team captain from 2011 to 2013, is the only player in Rush franchise history to have his number retired. And the National Lacrosse League has named Brett Frood as commissioner. Frood joins the NLL from Stuart Haas Racing, where he served as president of the NASCAR team since its inception in 2008.
Wow. Okay.
This sports update for Edo, Japan. Ring the bell for that one. Edo Japan's fast and friendly service plus online ordering options is easy and convenient when you're on the go.
Hell yes.
Yeah, buddy. Listen, I'm dying to ask you this.
Yeah.
Because these are the discussions you and I have just over coffee. Can any league not named NHL, NFL, MLB, what's the other one, NBA, thrive? Like the NLL, the Tenants, well, here is down. CEBL struggling. I think their playoffs begin tonight in the CEBL. Okay. Junior hockey. You see the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer in sports, especially in this country.
Thrive in, you want to say like North America?
Canada,
I think so. I think F1 racing has seen a massive increase in the last couple of years in North America and in Canada when it comes to numbers. So that has gotten much, much bigger. I think it will come around. We're seeing a shift. Every game is accessible. You know, you now see, you can watch your kids' Bantam AA games from the Cooperator Center on a live stream. I know Dane, he was playing basketball. Well, I could watch it on YouTube, if I wanted to. No commentary or anything like that. So it's not the same to go to the ballpark. You can watch every game at home. You can have a burger. You can have a cheap beer, sit on your couch, go to your bath, whatever. I think that the entertainment package has shifted and has to be that more dynamic, that more behind the scenes, more for your dollar at the live event. Now, the NFL, you got to take that out of the picture. That's just it's its whole own entity. But when you look at some of the sports, like you mentioned, whether it's an MLB or whether it's an NHL or a junior hockey, there has to be more. Like when you look at the Regina Pats, for instance, or our friends here at IKS, the scoreboards that are going in.
It's expensive.
For more of a production value, because it has to be more these days, because the accessibility to just watch the game, it's there. It's at your fingertips. Back in the day, for me to know what was going on with the Rider games, I either had to go or the next day at noon, watch Dale Isaac give me the highlights. I couldn't have it at my fingertips. I couldn't have, watching the game and have live tweets going on how Brooke Henderson's doing at a golf tournament and all that. I can consume so much from my couch that it's different to get bums in seats these days. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that leagues and franchises are facing is how do we get people into the stadium.
So, but you're saying it's not a losing battle.
I don't think it is at all because maybe this is nostalgia. Maybe I'm biased. And the Riders it's better in the seats. I mean, it's just there's nothing like a game. There's nothing like going again. I'll go back to my most recent experience going to the game last night, getting a foot-long hot dog with your 6-year-old.
What'd you pay for that, by the way?
I don't know. I think
it's $24.
I tapped. Whatever. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
And those experiences. Tell me the time that you remember watching a game at home with your parents that was memorable.
Okay. I get the question, but this came up the other day, and it was on this show, was what made you a fan of the and for us, it was watching Hockey Night in Canada.
Sure.
As a family in the living room at the farm.
Okay.
So I do remember those.
Sure.
Games. But I also remember going to the games too.
Oh, and which one has burned more on the brain? I remember going to Northlands Coliseum and we took the train and it was dirty and the smells and you're in the we're the 300s and you can barely see the ice and they're playing the Colorado Rockies. I mean, it's creating memories, and I put the photo out the other day. 3 generations. We took my dad and my 2 sons and we went to the Rider game. That's a memory. That's something that I'll have. I've watched a ton of football games with my dad and the kids doing, God knows what in the living room, and joke around. But I won't ever forget going to that game, parking, walking up to the stadium, coming down Elphinstone, the 6-year-olds asking a bazillion questions. Go to the thing in the Confederation Park. They're giving him, the free football. He's got sunglasses going from a radio station. All that's happening. I'll remember that over the 200 games that we've watched at my house.
From the viewers regarding the cut on my face, James in Borden, Manitoba says, Rod's a bleeder. Did you use a buck knife to shave?
Oh, no.
I know, right? This is like the worst I've ever bled from a cut. I'm a bleeder. I had a doctor once that said to me, actually a surgeon, you're very vascular. Do you know what that means? You bleed a lot.
Is that a compliment?
I'll take that as a compliment. It's not something that I'm proud of. Jeff in Winnipeg says nothing beats going to a sports event live. And that's a fact, but it's getting expensive enough that it's very hard to go regularly.
It's hard to argue with that.
From Craig Smith, our director of scouting. Smitty's watching. He says, always loved the bell. And John in Edmonton says, where is Darren Dupont? Darren Dupont is enjoying some well-deserved time off. And he's out enjoying Eastern Canada, doing things out there. Of all the points here, Canada's game of the week. Here's your schedule, by the way. Let's play Deal or No Deal now in the time that we have. We got 90 seconds here. Deal or No Deal. Let's start it all over again. Thursday night, game 1, Winnipeg at Montreal. BetRegal.ca has the Bombers favored by 5 in Montreal. Deal or no deal?
No deal.
No deal. He's not taking the bet. Friday, Calgary at Ottawa in a rematch of the 2018 Grey Cup and 2016 too. Calgary's favored by 5.5 at Ottawa.
Deal.
Saturday doubleheader. Voted Canada's game of the week by our viewers. Hamilton at Toronto. Argos favored by 2.
No deal.
Why?
Oh, Hamilton.
Okay.
They're due. They really do.
Little odd, right? And Chris Jones. Edmonton Elks at the BC Lions Saturday night. Lions favored by 10.5. Are you taking? Yeah, I know. I thought the same. Look at his face.
No deal. No
whopping
deal.
Line.
No deal. In fact, yeah, definitely no deal. I might just take the S on the money line.
There's some very enticing bets there at BetRegal.ca. We'll come back with viewer takeover right after this. Jim Hopson coming up in hour 2, the Hall of Fame president of the Saskatchewan Roughriders and inductee into Mike Ditka's Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV, YouTube live streaming, and 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Laid back and kicking it. Let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
And we're back. You like that, everybody?
Oh my God, do I love that so much.
For those that are listening, you didn't see the bumper of myself and John Lynch ripping around in Big Bird. John Frenzy's doing great. Probably we'll see him later today. For all that asked. Great guy. The Don Cherry of football. Yes, I'm bleeding like a stuck pig. Don't judge me. I'm hoping that it goes away. By the way, here's your tease to stick around for hour 2. Jim Hopson is in the building, the Hall of Fame president of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I'm talking Canadian Football Hall of Fame. But this is what we call Viewer Takeover. It is brought to you by Taco Time. For the love of burritos, it's buy one, get one half off at Taco Time with over 120 locations across Canada. There's always one near you. Brady from the Bridge City writes in and he says, "Hey, Rod, I'll be going to the Saskatchewan Rattlers play-in game tonight at SaskTel Center. Should be an entertaining game." This is Canadian Elite Basketball League playoff action. He says the Blue Bombers continue to get better. The chemistry continues to grow, and every player, including Caleros, continues to develop. The Bombers will win tonight to go to 9-0. So that the nation's turned on to the CFL. You noticing that?
Well, like I said, that last game was, that was fun. It was fun. It was played at a high level. I thought it was coached at an extremely high level as well, because when you're coaching against Willie Jefferson, I mean, that's tough. It just, you know what, and the runs, I mean, big runs, big throws, big plays, just all around. It was an exciting game to watch, and it was kind of a throwback to where we used to be maybe 10, 12 years ago, when we had, you know, every team had a quarterback that could get out there and chuck it felt like, and guys that would go up and get the ball. And you know, we maybe lost a little bit of that in the last couple of years, but it was definitely the standout game of the season so far.
Just in the time we have left, and it's about 4 minutes. You're a TV guy. You understand that. I know
it just flies by.
It goes very fast. I talked about your rants and so forth. When you were talking, I felt like saying, I don't know how you get that, as Andy Fantuz famously said to you one time. Do you find it not highly ironic that he's an analyst on Ticats Radio? I find it highly ironic.
No.
Given how truculent he was with the media.
Yeah, it is funny sometimes when you do see that. You know, there's some of the guys that maybe weren't as forthcoming with interviews and whatnot.
He was one of them.
After games or practices. Flip to, as they like to call it, the dark side eventually. No, it's not surprising. I mean, Andy Fantuz he was a really good player for a lot of years in this league. And the other thing is, I never lined up out there. The closest I ever got to lining up against those guys was when you did the celebrity game.
Wasn't that great?
Oh my gosh. And I remember I was playing defense, and I was lined up beside Chris McKenzie. And Claremont came wheeling around from the other team. And he comes blowing up at me, and he just put his foot in the ground and goes and gets a touchdown. And McKenzie's like, well, you gotta call that. And I was just trying not to get run over like a Mack truck, like a mosquito on the highway with Claremont coming at me.
Yes.
And it was, you know what? I could sit here and I can rant and say all the things I want about the Riders and Jason Moss and Cody Fajal. Never played the game.
Doesn't matter, though. That's why I was so confident and comfortable in analyzing hockey, because I played it, refed it, coached it. Football, I was never confident in, and that's why I was never the guy to rip the Riders apart. That never stopped you.
Well, no.
So I guess that's my point. I mean, Abu came on here the other day and said Jason Moss isn't the problem, and he's the offensive coordinator of the Riders, and people are ripping him apart that have never played it down. Those are fans.
Right.
I guess my point is, to end it with you, the Grey Cup will be here November 20th. The game will be played at Mosaic Stadium. Will the Saskatchewan Roughriders be in it?
If the Saskatchewan Roughriders are in it, they're either playing Calgary or Winnipeg. Let's put it that way. They're going to have to go through the East. I firmly believe that. I'm not saying they can't. And I'm not saying they're not a good enough football team. But at almost the halfway point of the season, they're looking up in the standings. And, you know, they've had the loss to BC now. Like, it's a very, very, very challenging road, and nothing indicates that Winnipeg or Calgary or even BC, for that matter, are going to take a massive step backwards. And that's what the Riders would need to catch them in the standings. Can they be as equally good, or at least be on the same field at the end of the season? I think they can if they get healthy and they sort some of their issues out, especially on the offensive line. But I just don't know. You know, they're back, and to go to a horse racing analogy, as you are inclined now,
yes.
They're back a few lengths right now, and I'm just not sure they got the down the stretch speed to catch those teams. So can they be in it? They can, but they're going to have to go through Hamilton and Toronto.
Well, whatever it's taken, it seems like the nation's turned on, and they're paying attention to what's going on in the CFL. We got a lot out of you, Duke. I appreciate it.
It was fun. And I got to say before I leave, I'm so proud of you for talking soccer once in a while, horse racing. You have broadened your horizons. I love it.
Right after this break, everybody. Thanks, Derek.
Thanks, man.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Does this look familiar?
Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
We were on the road with the Roughriders. Joe Womack was our strength coach, and he was rooming with Ron Estee. I'm coming down the elevator with Joe Womack, and he is so mad. And I'm like, what's wrong, Joe? And he goes, you wouldn't believe what Estee did. He's in his underwear, and he emptied the minibar. Smarties and the Kit Kats, thinking it's free, thinking it was a gift basket. And Joe looks at me, it ain't funny.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world, and specifically the United States of America. Welcome to the RP Show. It's our second seating. As we like to say, we had Derek Duke Meyers in Hour 1, and for all the new viewers, hopefully you stayed with us into Hour 2. We have the Hall of Fame president of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and I have a question just burning that I'm going to get out to Jim Hopson here right away, but we want to talk with the viewers. We want to have a great CFL chat. The NFL preseason kicks off tonight. Week 9 in the CFL, there's a lot going on. By the way, our poll question, we should get that out for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, is this: what will you be watching tonight? NFL, CFL, MLB, or other? And running away with it is the Canadian Football League. From the viewers of this show, 62%. Jim Hopson, great to see you as always. Thank you for the coming down.
Good to be seen.
Yeah, these days, in this business, great to be seen.
Great to be seen.
Here's my thing. I haven't talked to you since Mike Ditka's Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame induction in Chicago. That is a big deal.
It was.
How was it?
It was really, really good. They treated us like gold. Brenda went down with me and my son and his partner.
The First Lady.
Yep, the First Lady and our good friends, Don and Jeanette Sangster. Mike was there. He's really aged, but he's still sharp. But he's aged, but he was great. What was cool was the night before when I got to hang out with Jack Youngblood and Warwick Dunn and Frank Winters and Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera is the greatest guy.
Riverboat Ron.
He is great. I had a great visit with him. But the guy that blew me away was Marv Levy. He's almost 100
He went in
years.
with you too, didn't he?
No, but he made a presentation.
Okay.
Guy's almost 100 years old. So I started talking to him about Montreal and the players there, and he sharp as a tack. Remember, he loved Montreal, loves the CFL. So it was great. We really had a good time and got to spend an evening at the Blues Bar, and went down the river. It's a fabulous city. I didn't know it was such
Chicago?
a great city. Oh, wow.
It's one of the few left on my bucket list. You're telling me I got to go, huh?
The river, we were right on the river, and we did the river walk. We did the river cruise. It's a great city. Yeah.
So, well, if I may say that I'm proud of you for going in there. I mean, this stuff never gets old, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was kind of intimidating. You go down there and there's all these NFL greats, and there was quite a few guys that had been in there before or been in there previously, and so you hear this guy from the CFL. But I got a chance to talk about CFL riders.
They care,
and they really seemed to appreciate that, and they were really happy we're there because the alumni in the CFL is very much focused on head injuries and helping out the alumni that are struggling, and that's what he's about. But it was really good, really good.
Our director of scouting, Craig Smith, writes in, you guys won a Grey Cup together in 2013. He says, I worked with a lot of good ones in my 20 years in the CFL. Jim was one of the best, and he puts a heart up there. So that's from our good guy, Smitty. Listen, I apologize to monopolize your time. I want to keep talking about this, but I just want to say one thing. I went to the Super Bowl this year for the very first time.
Wow.
And I went to the Ditka and Jaws cigar party.
Right.
You heard it. Well, it's for Gridiron Greats.
He gave me 3 cigars.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Well, here's my thing. He wasn't there. I'm roaming around this party in L.A. going, where's Ditka? Where's Ditka? And they said, well, he's not that mobile. He doesn't come. Jaworski was there.
Right.
And he was the life of the party.
Yeah.
But my point is, you mentioned the NFL and those guys. It's a different world, Jim. I'm looking around going, money.
Yeah.
I mean, you have prosthetics and all the rest in both leagues, CFL, NFL, but money and just old NFL, it was something. And so I would assume that you were around that.
Yeah, and a lot of characters. Like Jack Youngblood, a guy he was a hero when I was younger, and he's still bigger than life, and they all are kind of bigger than life. Yeah. The coolest guy was Warwick Dunn. Couldn't believe he rushed for 10,000 yards. He's maybe 5'9", 5'10".
Oh, I would have thought he was
185
6
pounds, played down in Tampa. Outstanding individual, does a lot of charity work, just a great guy. But when he was young, his mother was a policewoman and she was killed in the line of duty. And he raised like 5 brothers and sisters, and just incredible young man. I was so impressed by him.
Well, I'm glad you had a great time.
Yeah.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, watching says, how come no one makes real Chicago deep dish pizza anywhere else than Chicago? Come down to South Florida. I'll show you a place called Jets Pizza. They make it's a cross between deep dish and Pizza Hut. It's amazing. And Western Pizza.
We went to the original deep dish pizza restaurant. It's in a basement brick building, and it was incredible. We just, it was
pepperoni?
Awesome. Yeah, and it was everything that they said it would be. Huh?
Oh, good.
Cool. Very
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. So, are we saying you're in retirement, or are we not, or what?
Well, I'm still on several boards. I'm on the SAS Power board, the Real board. I was at the fair last night. Went to saw the head pins, and they were better than I remember.
That's good.
Pretty cool. And I'm on the CFL alumni board. So, and I'm the chair of the U of S Husky Athletics. So. And all that's happening, and I've been battling stage 4 colon cancer for the last 16 months. So, but my doctor and my board said, we want you to stay on, and it gives you something else to kind of focus on. So you're not just sitting around. So yeah, I've been busy and trying to stay busy. Went to the Rider game, the last one where we started strong and faded. But I saw Gordie Gilroy this morning. I had to visit with him for a little bit about a couple of helmets I want to donate, and he said they're going to get healthy here soon, and they're going to get better. And I agree. They need to get healthy. That's for sure.
Well, so Tacona is watching in Winnipeg, and in the chat he says, "Wow, what a quick story of persevering." Well, it's not quick at all, and there's a little more to it than that. We got time. I appreciate you coming in for as long as you have. When you told me that you were going through this cancer battle, I thought, and I told you, if there's anybody that can beat this, it's you. And you know that I've been touched by cancer in my family, and I've found with the people battling cancer, attitude has so much to do with recovery.
Yeah. It's actually documented. It makes a difference. And right from the start, I said, we're going to beat this, and if we don't beat it, we're sure going to fight. And I've had 2 major surgeries. I had surgery on my liver back in February. I had surgery to remove my tumor, resection my colon in June. I've had 21 chemo treatments. Went back on chemo last week. So it's been a battle, but the support I've had from my family, from my wife, from the alumni, the visits, the calls. My wife said, "Jesus, you almost need a receptionist, the calls to come in." And so people have been very supportive, and I can't say enough about the cancer clinic here in Regina. The people here are world class.
Oh, they're very good. Let's hope you never have to deal with them, right? But if you do, you'll be in good hands. Now, to that end, the reason I bring that up is your era with the Roughriders, the decade of decadence, as I've lovingly called it, 2005 to 2014. I kind of look back and go, was that real? Because it seemed like a dream.
Yeah.
To watch, well, I wasn't watching. I was in it, but it seemed like a dream. Did it to you?
Yeah. I look back and, seeing Gordie this morning, and we were looking at it. We were actually...
This is the equipment manager of the Riders, by the way.
I have a 13 autographed helmet that I'm going to donate, and we got talking about it, and I said, Gordie, it wasn't all wine and roses, though. I mean, we had the Travis Smith thing. We had the Roy issue. We had the Eric issue. I said, we've been through tough times before. The difference was we went to Grey Cups. We went to 4 Grey Cups. We won, and the fan base was just over the moon, over the top. They just couldn't be more supportive, and so it was a pretty wonderful time to be with the Riders and be around the Riders, and I hope we can capture some of that magic again and get going.
But a lot of that was, listen, man, how many times have I interviewed you? Hundreds?
Yeah.
Like I remember when you first started with the Riders, February 2nd, 2005, you had this vision of Grey Cups and sold-out stadiums. Like you literally had a vision.
Yep.
You just spoke it into existence, or how do you make that happen? If you could bottle it, everybody would do it.
That's what the CEO has to do. You've got to hold the vision up for people to see and hear and talk about it. And I remember when I came in and I said, and I had great rivalry with the Eskimos, but now the Elks. But I said, I want to be the new Edmonton Eskimos. I want to win multiple championships. I want to be the standard bearer of the CFL. And I think people thought, this guy's kind of losing it. We're the Riders, we don't have those.
We don't deserve good things.
We don't do that. We're lucky to be here. And that was we had to shift from thinking, oh, we're lucky to have a team, to no, we're the best franchise in the CFL. And I think we achieved that. With the merchandise sales, our record, the fan support, the new stadium. So that's still there, but COVID's kind of kicked us a little bit, and gas prices are kicking us, and we're going through some tough times. And but that's who we are. We're the Riders. We'll get better.
But when you talk about that, and we'll see this attendance in the CFL games this year. I'm not talking about it as much as I used to talk about it. I'd rather talk about the games. And I remember Al Ford in the 90s when I would interview him on the pregame show with the Rider GM. You know what the CFL was like in the 90s.
Yeah. Whew.
Right. And I would ask him about the business side of things. And Alan Ford, the general manager of the Riders, would say, can we talk about football? I'm like, well, I didn't know enough about football. This was what was on the front cover of the Globe and Mail every day. This league's about to fold. And I was like, it seems like nothing can kill this league if COVID can't.
No, I had, Brendan and I had dinner with Rick Lawlisher and his wife, Joan, when they were in town. And we're close friends. And we talked about the CFL quite a bit. And he said, attendance is our number one challenge right now. And he said, what's interesting is our product is really good. We've got great games. We're seeing games go down to the last minute. He said, the Lions are on a roll. He said, what's interesting is we're selling a lot of the cheaper seats, and we're selling a lot of high-end seats, but we're not selling in the middle. That's the families. That's the long-term fans. And so we got to get that back. He said that's their number one challenge out there. And he said, quite frankly, their stadium's too big. No matter what they do, they're not going to put 60,000 people in there, just like they can't do it in Edmonton anymore. So that's a challenge. And, we're seeing crowds less than what we used to see as a norm here. And hopefully we'll get back once we get into Labor Day and so on.
Jack, my guy Jack in Vulcan, Alberta, watching. He's a Stampeder fan, says, Jim, you are a superstar. Thank you for everything you've contributed to football, but most of all, being a leader in showing us all what it takes to be an overcomer. Prayers up. That from Jack in Vulcan. Do you see yourself as an inspiration that way to people battling cancer?
I didn't. When I first started on this journey, I was fairly quiet about it. I kind of kept it to myself and my immediate friends and family. But then I had a lot of people say to me that they did find it inspirational that I could be positive and be facing this with an upbeat attitude. So I try to reach out now. I try to touch base with people. My personal hero, who just passed away, was Kelly Hamilton, and Kelly and I were longtime friends. And the last time I saw him was in the cancer clinic, and we were joking about things. But again, Mr. Pa, Kelly. I mean, couldn't be a more upbeat, positive guy. Did so much, he and Lenny, for minor football, Leibel Field, and way too young, just way too young. And so. I think we all have our heroes that we look to and use as inspiration, and he was mine, and I think about him quite a bit. And hopefully hopefully this journey is going to last longer than shorter. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's a teaser for the next segment, because viewers writing in saying how great the CFL product is. You just mentioned Rick Wallisher saying the same, the president of the BC Lions, the outgoing president of the BC Lions. What do you attribute that to? Because I think the suits, the tall foreheads in the CFL, the big cheeses will say it's because of their rule changes. And I'm not so sure it's entirely that. I think it's because of a lot of great people that have brought in great players. The Dalton Schoen in Winnipeg is something. What would you attribute to the great product this year, as opposed to last year, which was the lowest scoring season since 1974?
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we came out of COVID, finally we were able to get back to a little more normal. But we've got some pretty stable football people now across the league. I mean, Huff he's legendary, what he does in Calgary. They just continue to win, he and Dickey, and we got J.O. here. And Winnipeg, I give, Wade Miller, Wade's a character, and if you know Wade, he's bigger than life, but I give him credit. They stayed the course. They got beat up about their general manager, their head coach, but they stayed the course, and they've got a heck of a franchise there. And a guy that I absolutely love is Richie Hall, and the job he's doing there. I still think that our team started to go down when they let Richie go. It wasn't just what he did as a coordinator, but what he brought to the team, his personality, his love of football, his love of people. So, you look around and I'm not a big Chris Jones fan, but having said that, I respect what he does, and he's making that team better.
Yeah.
And he does it in the most unorthodox way, like who brings back Manny Arsenault? But Manny seems to be helping that team, and he's
drawn.
And he changes quarterbacks like
his underwear.
It's crazy, but the team is better, and he'll make that team better. And I give BC credit, like what they've done. That young quarterback, I'm just afraid that we're not going to have him very long. I got a feeling he'll be in the NFL. He's that good.
Nathan Rourke.
Yeah, he's that good. And we're seeing a little struggle in the East, but. Lapo finally, got off the losing streak, but they should be much better than they are. Don't know what's going on in Montreal. I was a big fan of their coach, and glad to see he landed on his feet. But the product is good. The product is good, and there's so many American football players out there, and the neat thing is. The Canadian players are just getting better and better. I read an article about the number of Canadian players in the NFL right now. It's a pretty big number, and they're
more
not
than ever.
They're not just they're not just backups. They're starters. And in some cases, stars. Huh?
There is an appetizer for what we're going to talk about when we come back. This week's games in the CFL and your questions. We'll turn you loose on El Presidente, the Hall of Fame president of the Roughriders. Jim Hopson, you're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network. We're live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Here we go. Oh, okay. We'll just continue this on the air. Jim Hopson with us, El Presidente. You're talking about Tyler spending some time in Florida. I did not know he was Mosaic Potash. Is it long time? No, he was SAS Power last I knew.
Yeah, he was a Power, but he's been with Mosaic Potash now for about 5 years. He actually has staff in Tampa that report to him. And his boss, Sarah, was transferred down there last year. Yeah, and so he's down there quite a bit. He was just home last week. Really enjoyed it. It's interesting. Mosaic is using the playbook they had here to make connections in the community with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and so
I see it.
And so they, he loves going down there. Of course, who wouldn't love Tampa?
Well, and that's the point. So Jim was asking me about Florida and when I'll be back, and it'll be before too long. But it's a long ways where I am from where Tyler is. But I got his number.
Yeah,
we'll have
give
to
him a
hook
call.
up because you see the Mosaic Stadium. You see that logo on the boards with the lightning, and you see it on the sidelines with the Buccaneers. So.
Well, they got a plant down there, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, he's enjoying it. They're up camping the next couple of weeks. They're doing a mini triathlon, and he's worried about the swimming, but he'll make it.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Sink or swim.
Yeah.
So. Yes, Jim Hopson went into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in what year?
18, I think.
2018. Boy,
yeah, 18, 19.
Time's flying.
Yeah, time
and then
flies.
Mike Ditka's Gridiron Greats just this past spring. So we'll talk a little bit about the current CFL with our viewers here. And tonight, Week 9 kicks off with Winnipeg at Montreal. The Blue Bombers are favored by 5 on Thursday Night Football. What do you think about this Gary Stern? The owner, you're not a Twitter guy, Jim, but this Gary Stern's discovered Twitter, and he's made bold predictions. He's guaranteed a win tonight for the Alouettes against the Bombers.
He's good for the league.
Yeah.
We need guys like that, you know. And, the NFL's got all kinds of owners that are out there and making comments. But good for Gary, and he's passionate. He loves the team. They show him a lot on the game day. And, Montreal's got a pretty good team, but they can't seem to finish the game, and that's what they got to do against Winnipeg, because Winnipeg finds a way to win. They just find a way to win, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a lot of times they're not particularly great on offense, but they'll make the plays when they need to make them, huh?
We've got a lot of viewers in Winnipeg, and some wrote in here earlier and said, "Could we see the Bombers going 18-0?" And because nobody ever has, I have to say no. But I think this Bomber team this year is better than the last 2 Grey Cup winners. I
agree. They're a very good team. Tough to go 18-0. You're gonna have to rest some of your guys. You're gonna get injuries. And I think back to the great teams out of Edmonton, and they weren't undefeated, but they were pretty close a lot of times. And it seemed to hurt them sometimes when they got into the playoffs because they hadn't had a lot of adversity. Huh? So, but they're a good team. There's no doubt about it. And it should be a great matchup when they come back here in September.
I'm smiling reading the viewer comments here. They're all coming in. Clyde Carpenter's watching in the Maritimes, and he says, loves Stern's passion. The CFL needs more owners like him. John Ohm in Winnipeg says, Gary Stern is the Jerry Jones of the CFL. Stop. Do you know why I smiled, Jim? One night in Toronto, after a game, before your time, we were at a place called Jack Astor's and Ron Clark.
Been there?
Ron Clark was there?
Yes. The credit card story?
Oh, you heard. Chairman of the Riders at the time, and a big cheese with what? Sask Energy.
Sask Energy, yeah.
And he stood at the end of the table and, I'm the Jerry Jones of the CFL. I'll never, ever forget it. So we already have a Jerry Jones of the CFL. Sorry. And God bless Ron. He's in Saskatoon. You heard the story, eh? You hear all the stories.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, it's in my commentary today that runs on Saskatchewan radio. I said, Gary Stern and Bo Levi Mitchell are the cheese whiz of the CFL. They add personality. Remember those old commercials? What do you think about Bo? He comes out, they lose to Winnipeg last week, and he goes, big deal. I've beaten that team 1,000 times. I'll beat him when it counts. What do you think?
I like Bo. He's a character. He's got a strong belief in himself. He wins. And I think he's good for the league in terms of he creates headlines. I was sad to see him struggling last year, and I was afraid his career was maybe on the downside, but he's bouncing back. And, if you had Bo on your team, we were talking about Dwight Anderson, he's that kind of guy. If he's on your team, you love him. If he's not, not so much. Huh?
You hate him.
Yeah.
Well, and what's interesting, by the way, I mean, I put yourself in the pantheon of CFL legends like a Wally Buono, and Wally was on this show, and I said, do you have any regrets, Wally? And he said, 2, if you can believe. He goes, I would have always liked to coach the Saskatchewan Roughriders, which knocked me off my chair.
I never knew that.
Yeah. And the other goes, he said, I would have liked a chance to coach Bo Levi Mitchell because he's special.
There you go.
Isn't that something?
Yeah,
is there
it
better
is.
praise than that?
Yeah, that's really that's a heck of a compliment, from a guy that did it all
And had Flutie.
and
yeah, Garcia.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, that says a lot right there. But Wally's doing well. Rick and Joan Wallisher see them a lot, and he's doing well. He's not missing football as much as he thought. He's still around the game, but he's enjoying life.
I talked to his daughter, Christy, when they were looking for a GM here a while back, and I shot her a note, and I said, would your dad ever be interested? She's like, not a chance. He's enjoying life after football, I guess. Life after CFL.
Yeah. Rick told me that the way he got that job was he was talking to Wally, doing a reference, and Wally says to him, well, Rick, why don't you come here? And Rick said, well, that wouldn't be a bad idea, or I think about that. Next morning, he got a call from David Bailey. It happened that quick, and so, and he's really happy he went out there, and it's been a good gig for him.
Kind of guy that makes things happen.
Yes,
Wally
he
Buono.
does.
So it's Calgary at Ottawa, and I got to mention this. So that's Friday night football, Calgary at Ottawa. The Stampeders are favored by 5.5, and we have Red Blacks fans watching. I apologize, Jenna. I said I'd get to the Red Blacks last hour. But when the Red Blacks won in Toronto Sunday, the story that moved across the wire overnight was the Red Blacks are back in the playoff hunt. And I'm like, they're 1-6. Like, Jim, they got to change this.
Yes. That's it's sad that it's good in a way because you're never out of it in the CFL. I mean, we've seen some crossovers that, teams that are less than 500 and end up doing, well, the Red Blacks early on. But, yeah, I don't know what was wrong with them. They just couldn't close the deal. And I like Lapo a lot. I think he's a very good coach. But let's hope they get their act together.
It's hard to rescue a team from the dead, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah. It is.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. But he seems like he's got a quarterback he likes now. So that's key for him. And the East is interesting. You just never know what's going to happen.
Dale in Winnipeg watching. He says, you all are doing an awesome job as always. Too late for Taco Tuesday? Turning 46. Taco bout old. Oh, wow. His son Jack says, bad dad joke. Thank you, Dale. I appreciate that. Jeff the Stamps fan says, if Wally wanted to coach the Riders, why didn't he? Surely he could have if he wanted to. Life's about timing. You know that better than anybody.
Yeah, that's right. And he's pretty deep into the community and loves the lifestyle. His son's got a restaurant out at Gibson's Landing, and his daughter's out there. So, I could see him thinking that, but he enjoys his life out there. And it's funny. Wally was one of the guys that Marv Levi mentioned to me about. Marv
coached
Levi,
him
about having him as a player and how he could see him being a coach. He was a kind of a coach on the field. So. You do pick those guys out. Huh?
It would be nice if Wally was a little more visible, but he is as visible, I guess, as he wants to be, because everybody loves seeing Wally.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's such an iconic figure out there, and he's still at the games, and they mix and mingle, and he tries to help out.
Well, and back to the timing thing. There was only one time that Wally became available.
That's right,
and it was after the 03 season. And again, back to, did this happen? Wally was fired. He was, by the Federics, right? It makes no sense.
It makes no sense at all.
And by the way, I spent 17 weeks in Calgary, as you know, and here recently, the Dunnigan era comes up like every day. I'm hanging around football guys for how bad it was.
Yeah.
I don't know how much Matt wants to talk about it. He doesn't bring it up much. But the one thing they said about Matt Dunnigan, and the old folks, the young viewers will say, what? They coached the Stamps? I think he would have had a good chance, but they said he was in the weight room before any player and after any player. That wouldn't surprise you, would it?
No, he loved working out. He might have the best beard on TV right now,
or worse,
whatever you think. But I like Matt. I think he's good at what he does, and he's opinionated. But
I like
that's
him
what
too.
They want,
Yeah. He's honest, and
he's honest.
Yeah, like I said to him once, is this broadcasting thing kind of fill the void for football? And he's like, no. He says not the same.
Yeah, no.
But he gets paid well doing it. So
he does, and I think they have fun, Stiegel's like him. He's pretty honest and tells it like he sees it.
Phyllis in Winnipeg says the Bomber boys always talk about going 1-0. They don't take any game for granted. Every single game, they focus on the team in front of them, and they do their thing. It's beautiful to see, no doubt. We do have more time with Jim. 3 minutes in this segment. I'll throw this question at you from John in Winnipeg. He says, Jim, biggest obstacle for the CFL for 2022 and beyond?
Well, it's the fan base, getting the crowds back. I'm not sure what the answer is. I mean, I think cost is becoming a real issue, when you look at, especially in Saskatchewan, where people are traveling from all over the province. So, and we got out of the habit, we went through the, no football one year and COVID and people are comfortable watching the game on TV and everything else. So we got to get them back in the habit. But you and I have been around the CFL so long, we've seen all this before. It's not like we haven't had this scenario about attendance. And, the game it's a good game. And we need to have some excitement in the fall and towards that Grey Cup.
Well, you're friends with these schooner guys. Gary Drummond, talked with him. It sounds like that's dead in the water.
It's just funny how they just went silent and they weren't involved at all. And I heard great things from people who were there about the experience and the fans and the people and it was a beautiful day and everything else. But let's face it, they're not going to play out in Wolfville, that's for sure. And they got to be in Halifax and I'd love to see it. But I was talking to Rick about what it's like to be on the Lions and travel from Vancouver to the Maritimes to play a football game. That's a pretty big deal. And, so not that it's not...
Yeah, look at a map.
Yeah. I mean, but they do it in the NFL. They go from L.A. to New York and all the rest of it. So, but let's hope that they can get something going there.
More viewer questions when we return and also a sports update. Jim Hopson with us, Hall of Fame president of the Roughriders. You're watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Amazon, Google, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Just ahead of a little more with Jim Hopson, a sports update. Toronto Blue Jays ace Alek Manoah will open a 4-game series at Minnesota tonight. The Twins will counter with lefty Jeffrey Springs. The Jays dropped a 3-2 decision in Tampa Bay on Wednesday. The LA Dodgers are honoring late broadcaster Vin Scully by adding a patch with Vin above a microphone to their uniforms for the remainder of the season. The Hall of Fame play-by-play man died Tuesday at the age of 94. And Russian prosecutors have asked a court outside Moscow to sentence American basketball star Brittany Griner to 9.5 years in prison on cannabis possession charges. Closing arguments in Griner's trial are taking place today, nearly 6 months after her arrest at a Moscow airport. Although a conviction appears almost certain, and Griner has acknowledged having vape cartridges with cannabis oil in her luggage, Russian judges have considered considerable latitude on sentencing. The sports update for the World Juniors. Edmonton is hosting the World this summer. The World Juniors back August 9th to the 20th. We're going to be there live. We'd like to see you there as well. Tickets are on sale now at hockeycanada.ca, starting for as low as $20 or at $40. And bring the thrill of the track to your fingertips with Woodbine's Dark Horse Bets app. Its AI-powered insights and strategies help you make smarter bets straight out of the gate. Feel the excitement of live streamed horse races wherever you go. Download the app for free at playdarkhorse.com. Available for Android and Apple devices. I said, Jim Hopson, I had a burning question for you. It was about Mike Ditka's Gridiron Greats. I have another. How did you escape the noise as president of this team for 10 years when it's on your face all day, every day, with people giving their opinion on what you should do?
I think I never tried to escape it. I think I embraced it.
There you go.
Well, when I started, I realized that, you're going to live in a fishbowl. Everybody knows you, and everybody's got an opinion. But I said, you know what, you can fight it or you can embrace it, and so I embraced it. And I was talking with a friend the other day about that, and he said, like, you showed up everywhere. I said, well, I was energized by the fans. I felt that it was my obligation to be part of the fan base and support them. But yeah, it was good. But people were good. One of the reasons we moved out to the lake and spent a lot of time out there is it gave us some serenity. We got away from the hustle and bustle, but people were generally good. If you wanted some privacy, when we lived in Moose Jaw, my wife was the director of education over there. People were great. They'd say hi, but they didn't push themselves on you and so on. But it was funny. There were times, of course, you get a couple drunks telling you what they think, but they pay their money.
You can say what they want.
Say what you want.
I'm not sure I agree with that, by the way, but good for you for feeling that way.
Yeah.
Another one. 2013 Grey Cup. I think I've asked you this before. I forgot the answer. Did you not deliver the edict, Grey Cup or else you guys are fired?
Gordy Gilroy, our equipment manager, we were talking this morning about the 13 because I have a 13 helmet that was autographed, and You think back, and it was magical. The fact that the fans sat in that stadium for, I don't know how long, but a long time after the game, just sat there, just soaking it up and enjoying it. And, it was pretty special and hard to replicate. I mean, we could do it this year, but we got to get a lot better first. But it was a special time.
You don't want to answer the question?
Well, what was the question again?
The question, did you tell the coach and GM if we don't win the Grey Cup, you'll be fired?
No, I didn't.
I thought you did.
No, I did. I did say, I said, we're all in. We're going to do everything in our power to win the Grey Cup. I told Brendan, you spend right to the edge of the cap. I said, this is it. This is our chance. It's a chance to be immortal. And they felt the pressure. I know Brendan really felt it, and as did Corey. We stumbled for a while there during the season, but no, I didn't say we'd be fired, but I certainly expected to be in the game, and we were. But it was a special time, and unfortunately, the win changed Corey. And
our head coach.
Yeah, unfortunately, because bright young guy, and he's done some good things since. He was part of a championship team this year down in Birmingham, but I don't know what went wrong. But I think sometimes ego gets in the way. Huh?
From Craig Smith, who was your director of scouting on that season, he says, loved the preseason barbecues at Jim's place at the lake to start the season. Did you cater that, or did you cook it?
No, we catered it. We would have north of 100 people. It was awesome. We'd have all the football ops, all the business people, everybody out. One year we set up a tent, but the only people that sat in it was George. George would go out there to have a dart. He'd have to go out and have a cigarette. But we had a great time. We had some good weather, bad weather, but that was a lot of fun. And my son would come out, he and his partner, and they'd be the bartenders, and it was just those are special. We did a lot of entertaining at the lake, and had a great Grey Cup party. Invited everybody over for a Christmas drink, and had the Grey Cup there. They walked in the house, and the Grey Cup was sitting in the living room, and so we had a lot of.
Well, by the way, sorry to interrupt. Jeff, the Stamps fan, makes a really good point. And he's trolling, but I'll say it anyways. He says the Riders sold their souls for that Grey Cup and have never fully recovered. The LA Rams did the same thing. This is the new thing in the NFL. Credit card number, buy. Credit card spending on players, buy. We'll pay the bill later. That's kind of what you did. Well, you're kind of ahead of your time that way.
We certainly did go all in, but having said that, we had a very good team in 2014. I think we were going back to the Grey Cup, and unfortunately, Darian got hurt.
What happens to the Rams if Matthew Stafford gets hurt? They don't win the Super Bowl.
And that's right. And so when he went down in Winnipeg, that was it. And unfortunately, but we had a team that could have gone back very easily. But championships they're hard to win, and when you got a chance like that, especially at home, you got to go for it. Look at what San Diego just did in baseball. Oh man,
all in.
And people are criticizing the Jays because they kind of took a more cautious, middle-of-the-road approach. But San Diego was all in, huh? Yeah, got to give.
We'll see how it goes, though.
Well, that's right. What happens if they get an injury, or who knows? Huh?
Well, we have fans from all CFL teams, as you know, watching, and the Stamps. It defies explanation how good they've been. It just does. It's a Huffnagel thing. And they better be rolling down red carpet for him every day and hope that he never leaves. He's a very well-paid guy. I don't know how he's done it.
Well, he has a formula, and he's got great contacts, great scouting, and but for John, there's no player that's bigger than the team. He understands that, and he's like Wally. Better to get rid of a guy a year too soon than a year too late, and he just keeps rolling along. Hopson is 70s now. He's not a young man anymore, but he doesn't give any indication of leaving. I think he lives out in Cochrane.
He does.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. But no, he seems happy, and
he is. I've talked to him about it.
Yeah.
He loves the city. Gets paid great, and doesn't have the BS of the NFL.
That's right.
He got screwed around pretty bad there.
But he had success down there.
Doesn't matter. You can still lose your job and have success, right? Believe me.
You're hired to be fired. Huh?
Exactly. I got one more for Jim when we come back. And I'll let you think about it for 4 minutes. It's not that hard, but bad guys in your locker room. Do you need them to win, or should you not have them to win? We'll talk about that when we come back in our final segment and all of your questions. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV. We're also live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Okay, here we go. And it's always fun. It's the overtime segment for the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the CFL and UFC. We turn it over to the viewers. And there's a lot of great questions coming in for Jim Hopson, our last segment with him. And I appreciate you coming in, Jim, as always. Appreciate you watching the show, too, by the way, on SaskTel Max TV. I'll get to the viewer questions, but I teed you up. bad guys, if you will, in the locker room. You got this Garrett Marino here suspended by the Riders, still on suspension. You know what he did. Duke Williams throwing his helmet and spitting. You had some characters in your time with the Riders. So where do you stand on having those types in your locker room?
You know, it seems counterintuitive, but I think you need some guys with an edge. You know, we had a lot of great guys when I was there, the Mikowskis, the O'Days, and so on. But, you know, we needed Andrew Green. You know, he played with an edge. He had an edge in the locker room. I look back at my playing days, and nobody was more of an agitator than Bill Baker, you know, and he could
change the game.
And he could change the game, yeah. So I think you need good guys, of course. You need people to get along. You want them to like each other. Interesting that I hear that Marino is well liked in the locker room. You know, as bad as the whole situation was, and everything that happened, and I certainly was not very impressed with what he pulled at the end of the game. But they say in the locker room, he's a great teammate. People like him, and he's a hard-nosed, tough player.
You brought up Dwight Anderson.
Dwight Anderson.
I hated him.
I hated him, and when we got him, I thought, oh man, but I loved the guy, and I watched him with his kids and his wife and his teammates, and so you need guys like that. Nate Davis was a guy that people weren't sure about, but he was quiet and moody at times, but so you need. Ralph Galloway, he had an edge, and those are the kind of guys that you need on your team. So I hear that Atch wasn't exactly a choir boy in terms of the locker room and everything. So
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Hall of Famer. Yeah. So I think you need a balance. What you don't need is guys who aren't good teammates, and that they guys that don't support their teammates, don't buy into the team concept. And if they're hard-nosed and tough, so be it, huh?
Ryan, watching in Saratoga, New York, says, Rod, are we going to have time for Bo Levi Mitchell on today? No, sorry, we're running out of time. We don't have time for Bo today, but maybe maybe next time, Bo, maybe tomorrow on a Football Friday. From Glenn B., he says, the players all have their own personalities, but bad apples need to be removed. They can spread like cancer. That's up to your leaders, right, to sort that out.
You can't have guys that are bad apples. There's no doubt about that.
From Andrew Stout, he says, Bonjour, Rod. Can you please ask Jim if he is still a Habs fan and what he thinks of the way the team is going?
I am.
I didn't know that.
I tell you, what they're doing is so unconventional. I mean, they're picking guys that never worked in the NHL and coach minor hockey, but I like what they're doing, and they're doing it differently. But I think their future is looking pretty good. But man, the thing of it is, the CFL, the NFL, NHL, they're old boys clubs, and that's the way the world works. Not for them. They're bringing in guys that really had no connection, and it seems to be working for them. They got a good young core. Be interesting if they bring back PK and see what happens there.
Well, they haven't yet.
They haven't yet, but anyway, no, I'm still a Habs fan, and I kind of like the Leafs, but they disappoint us every year.
Leafs falling every year. You can count on it.
Yeah.
No. Carlos in Indianapolis. He says, it's been a good show, everyone. 2 hours of fascinating conversation. I'll finish it up with those last questions here on the Canadian Football League. We got 5 minutes left, which is still a lot of time. The Grey Cup this year in Sask, you're going to predict the Riders will be in it no matter what, right? If I asked you who's going to be in it?
We might have to go through the East, but that's happened before.
Has it? I don't think it has.
Well, we can go through the East.
Well, they've gone through it, but nobody's ever gone to a Grey Cup.
That's right. That's correct. Yeah. But we might have to go that way, because when you look at Winnipeg, BC, and Calgary, it's going to be tough to make that top three. But, if we're in it, if we're not in it, it's still going to be great. I mean, Rider fans are going to come out, but it'd sure be great if we could find a way to get there. But, I used to not understand the football guys like Roy and Eric. They didn't panic about losses early in the year. They always said, hey, Labor Day, we get into the fall. that's when it matters. And we get healthy and get back some guys, we could make some noise. So we'll just have to see what happens. But it's Saskatchewan, eternal optimism, right?
Well, of course, to a fault almost sometimes. But with what you're hearing here, everybody says that the problems stem from the offensive line, and you were an offensive lineman. So do you see that?
Our offensive line is not very good right now. We miss Danny. Our two young guards are going to be mainstays for a long time, but they're young. Logan, I mean, this kid's out of junior football. Our tackles aren't good enough. 51, he tries to be a tough guy. He needs to be a finesse player. We're hurting up front, and it's hard for Cody to be a great quarterback when he doesn't have some help. We need to get our running game going. Now, we're going to get some players back. We're going to get some receivers back soon, and that's going to help us. But we need, I don't know what we're going to do at tackle, and that's our problem right now. We got to get that running game going too. When you don't have a great O-line, you got to help them out. Offensive tackle is a tough position to play. The ends now are so good, so quick, so fast. You've got to be an athlete to do that. And I don't see 51 having the kind of mindset.
Well, when you're in the season and things aren't going great, you've been on the top and the bottom. 1-7 in 2011, you had to make a change. Is it not like a blur? Like the games are coming fast, and right? Like how do you? Yeah. These are quick fixes.
The routine, quick fixes are really hard to do. I mean, when we lost Darian in 14, we tried to bring in, recycled quarterbacks, and it's
newbies
hard.
And rookies, and
and so you're playing, you're really just rolling the dice, and that often, or not very often, works. So, but they've got some time now, and they can't panic. Hopefully, J.O.'s got some lines on some tackles we can bring in here and help us out, huh?
Wayne in Victoria, BC, watching, says, thanks, RP Show, for a great 2 hours of top-notch sports talk, especially CFL talk. Have a great day. From John in Winnipeg, hats off to Jim, best guest ever, and that includes Don Cherry. Did you know we had Don Cherry on here?
Yes.
It was awesome.
He is awesome. I mean, who's bigger than Don Cherry?
Yeah,
right?
Well, not too many these days. Jim, thanks again. Continued success. Enjoy the rest of summer.
I will. I'm going to head back out to the lake later today, and going to have lunch with my oldest friend. We went to kindergarten together.
Who's that?
Gary Wilson.
All right. I know Gary Wilson.
Played with the Rams.
Great guy, absolutely.
Great guy.
Hey, tomorrow on a Football Friday, a couple Hall of Famers, Wes Cates and Nick Lewis, right here in the bunker. We'll see you at noon Eastern here on Game Plus TV.
Angering people is a gift of mine.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.